Let me ask you something. How many games do you own but haven't played yet? 10? 20? 100? Maybe even more? Yeah, I see you out there. We've all been there. Caught in the irresistible pull of a Steam sale, a Black Friday deal, or grabbing that game everyone's raving about, only to let it sit there untouched for months. Maybe years. It feels almost universal, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Having a backlog isn't a bad thing. In fact, I'd argue it's actually important for us gamers. Why? Let's dive into it. First off, what do I mean by backlog? Basically, it's all the games you own but haven't played or finished. Think of it like a treasure chest of gaming adventures just waiting to be explored. And yeah, it can be big. Like, ridiculously big. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So why are backlogs important? Let's break it down. First, backlogs help you prioritize your time and money. Instead of buying the latest game just because it's trending, you can dive into games you already own. And honestly, with how expensive games are these days, that's a win for your wallet. Plus, you'd be surprised how many hidden gems are just sitting there, waiting to be discovered. Second, backlogs help you pace yourself. Instead of constantly chasing the newest releases and feeling that fear of missing out, or FOMO as we call it, you can play at your own pace. And trust me, it's way less stressful. It's like giving yourself permission to enjoy gaming instead of turning it into a race. When you're always focused on what's next, you can miss out on fully appreciating what's already in front of you. A backlog lets you take your time, savor the stories, and really connect with the games you play. Another cool thing about backlogs, they're a snapshot of your gaming journey. Looking at mine, I see a mix of RPGs, survival horror, and sci-fi games. It's like a window into my tastes as a gamer, and it tells a story about how my preferences have evolved over the years. And sometimes, revisiting older games can completely change how you view them. Maybe you'll notice details you missed, or you'll appreciate the story or gameplay in a way you didn't before. Like going back to Dead Space after all these years, that was a whole new experience for me. The same game can feel different depending on where you are in life. And that's part of what makes gaming so special. Okay, so how do you actually manage a backlog? Here are a few tips. Number 1, prioritize. Play the games you're most excited about or that fit your mood. Sometimes it's about tackling the ones you've always meant to play, and other times it's about picking something light and fun when life feels heavy. Number 2, rotate genres. Trust me, switching things up keeps gaming fresh. You don't want to burn out playing 5 RPGs in a row. Variety not only keeps you engaged, but also helps you appreciate different types of games more deeply. Number 3, set small, achievable goals. Maybe it's finishing one story-based game a month, or clearing your backlog of indie titles first. Breaking it down into smaller chunks makes the process feel manageable, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment along the way. And finally, number 4, it's okay to drop games you're not enjoying. Gaming is supposed to be fun, not a chore. If a game isn't clicking with you, it's okay to move on. Not every game is going to resonate, and that's totally fine. There's also something really satisfying about finishing a game and checking it off your list. It's like leveling up IRL. Plus, every game you play from your backlog is one less gathering dust in your library. But let's not forget the sentimental side of it. Backlogs often contain games that hold a certain nostalgia or curiosity. Games you bought because they looked cool or because someone recommended them to you. Finally, playing those games can feel like opening a time capsule and reconnecting with what made you excited about gaming in the first place. Backlogs can also help you rediscover your gaming roots. Remember that first game that got you hooked on a specific genre? Or the one that made you realize how much you love storytelling in games? Revisiting old titles from your backlog can reignite that passion and remind you why you started gaming in the first place. And let's not ignore the sheer practicality of a backlog. Life gets busy, and we don't always have time to keep up with the newest releases. That's where a backlog comes in handy. It's a ready-made library you can dip into whenever you have free time. No waiting for downloads or updates, just pick a game and jump in. There's also something to be said about the joy of discovery. Sometimes you'll find a game in your backlog that completely surprises you. Maybe it's a small indie title that didn't get much attention when it launched, but it ends up being one of the most memorable experiences you've ever had. Those moments make tackling a backlog so rewarding. And let's talk about how backlogs can build community. When you finally get around to playing that classic game everyone raves about, it opens up a whole new world of conversations. Suddenly, you're able to join in on discussions, share your thoughts, and connect with other players who love the same game. It's a way to bond over shared experiences, even if you're late to the party. Who knows? Your next favorite game might already be sitting in your backlog, just waiting for you to give it a shot. And the best part? You don't have to wait for release dates or patch updates. It's all there, ready to go. So what's the most interesting game in your backlog right now? Maybe it's that critically acclaimed RPG you've been meaning to start, or that quirky indie game that caught your eye during a sale. Whatever it is, let's talk about it. Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And hey, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more gaming discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, once I've cleared a few more games off my own backlog.
All right, good work, people. But we aren't done yet. The General and I are gonna have a look at the radio to see what shape it's in. The rest of you, clear out any remaining mirror lurks or eggs.